Okay, Susie, all yours.
And while compassion recognizes other people's sufferings, it's not sympathy and not even empathy. It is to have such depth of love that we decide to do what it takes to heal a situation and do it. Opening the heart of Golden XPR.
Yeah, and here is your answer, Amanda. Thank you. So, Susie, please keep going.
Consider, when ready to shift from victim into officer and to take charge of some condition in my life, I am also ready to let go of my fear of loss. As I do, I am able to make a decision with such a resolute intention that the energy behind this decision will disable the hold of the neurological programming and the emotional addictions that have thus far governed my body.
Yeah.
What decision am I postponing?
So read that last sentence again, because this is the kind of yes that a former addict speaks to sobriety, where there's like no way in the world that I'm going to suffer one single exception in drinking again. So if you would actually read the whole consideration again.
Okay. Consider, when ready to shift from victim into officer and to change some condition in my life, I am also ready to let go of my fear of loss. As I do, I am able to make a decision with such resolute intention that the energy behind this decision will disable the hold of the neurological programming and the emotional addictions that have thus far governed my body.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing that we have that power to decide? Yeah. So, Susie, what decision are you postponing?
I've very recently made a decision within my life, so the decision has been made. I wouldn't say that I'm postponing it.
Okay. Is there any decision that you're postponing at this time?
I think sitting down and writing.
Okay. What are you afraid to lose or not to get?
Putting my heart right on the table when I write.
Yeah. So, not that goes back to what Amanda was saying. And it makes me think of this thing of the tree in the forest. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a sound? And if I didn't have a public as an artist, would I create? And there it is, same story. I'm afraid to create because I may get my heart broken. So I'm giving you a power.
I have.
Yes, Anna.
So if a tree falls in the forest, in my opinion, it does make a sound.
That's what interdependency is all about. The tree is not all alone. It's part of an interdependent community.
I mean, if it is as if like saying like if I fall on the ground and like I don't know, I break my leg or whatever. Does the sound exist? I mean, yes, I heard it. Right or no?
Well,
in order for there to be a sound, there needs to be an ear to hear it. If there's no ear, there's no sound.
Well, the trees are conscious, at least in my opinion, so.
There you go. So it seems that in your understanding, there is a listening to the tree falling. And what Michael is saying is the only way that a tree could make a sound is if there are other reality out there to give it an ear. And it goes back with being no one, nobody, nothing. It's like letting go of the known. So if Susie let go of the known, she would not be afraid of her creativity. Is
Yeah.
that accurate? Okay.
Yeah, the thing that, like, even when I was reading this, in my mind, there was like this thud of an axe, right? Like, I'm sure you guys have seen that, like, axe throwing was a big thing and people went axe throwing or knife throwing or whatever. But I got to go to one of those and I found out I was pretty good at it. But there's a very distinct sound that comes when you just let go of that and it lands and it sticks. And it also made me think of Bob Marley. It's like, you're a small axe, the song. And it's like, it doesn't matter how big the tree is. If you're a sharp little axe, you're going to get the job done. So it just kind of reminds me that, I don't know, it was a good reminder for me personally, internally.
Very good. Seems that you heard something. Lovely. Thank you, Susie. So we're complete with the course. The 3 chapters that follow, and I will take us back to the what is it? The
Table of contents.
Thank you, Michael. The table of contents, to show you that there are 3 chapters that we are not going to review. And the reason of that is because they're very technical in terms of the law itself, the 10 commandments as 10 words, the 3 commandments, which are the 3 noble words in blue that Jesus based his teachings on. And this is really the basis that allowed for the clarity of the 6 days of awe and the 6 days of evicting. So it is here as a foundation, but it's not necessarily needed that each of you would know why the commandment, thou shalt not murder, is a perfect match and works in tandem with that should remember Shabbat, that should remember to rest. So with that note, Michael, I'm going to let you take us through the expected result, learning objective and expected results, and guide us in that. And
Well, first of all, Maha, thank you for everything, including the technical part that we did not get to look at. I remembered when the idea came to do something important with the 10 commandments, which are really 10 words in Hebrew. And the significance of misunderstanding of what law is profound. It's just such a big, huge topic. When I engage a divine law, I've decided to adhere only to that law, and it's completely inner in terms of the source. And when we can all begin to relate to law in that manner, justice is done. And
Amen.
the entire collective, we all benefit from it. There's not one disadvantage for taking this approach. I mean,
Amen.
That's what's so beautiful about it, because when I'm following that, you could call it universal justice, I won't want to steal. I won't want to commit adultery. I won't want to kill, because I have a knowledge that I am you
Or
and
be
you
a
are me.
pedophile, right?
Yeah, all of those conversations of justice it doesn't minimize them or make them wrong or just spiritually bypass them, as I know can be the case. It's the decision of ultimate responsibility.
Amen.
So again, thank you for the work that it took. Who knows when this full revelation of a new way to look at 10 words will reach the collective. It's not our will to know that. What we do know is that it is now written, and that there is a practical way to know that when my thumbs, my will and God's will are one, justice rocks. That's
Amen.
really, there's really nothing else that we need to know. And if
Amen.
you want the technical part of it, or if there are theologians that do, we have the proof. We have it written. We have the
And
decoding.
we're fully available to share that with you. So you just need to reach out and let us know. Two more things on the note of sharing. How would you feel about this coming Thursday, which we're going to have a group offering to be given to the Merchant of Venice and do that perturbation or corruption of the law? So if you can make time, it's probably an hour and a half to watch the Merchant of Venice, 2 hours.
Mhm.
2 hours, thank you, Michael. The version was Al Pacino.
What time?
The course on Thursday will be at 7 p.m. So your time would be 8 p.m. Can you make that, Anna?
And to watch
Uh,
the movie before Thursday.
And to watch it before Thursday, exactly.
Yeah.
So
okay, one moment. So I like kind of like as a homework assignment would be to watch the movie before
you,
Thursday and then meet up on Thursday to join a
yes,
discussion.
Yeah. We're
to
going to
do a
talk.
Kabbalah at the movie, exactly. The second thing is we added a page that answered the question that Sarah once had on the relationship of the crown of the pillars to the 3 pillars themselves. So there is a page, if we have time, after Michael leads us to the session, that maybe Danielle can take us through this and be the guinea pig for that page. So with all of this, Michael, it's all yours.
All right. Thank you, Maha. So let me get this page up here. My suggestion now would be that we'll either volunteer or I'll read
No,
the.
we're looking at the learning objective, right?
Yeah, that's where I was
Okay.
going. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So what I was suggesting is that would somebody like to read this first of all? And if you don't, I will. Maybe Anna?
Yeah, Ananias, unmute.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So small islands of coherence in a sea of chaos can shift the whole system to a higher order. Barbara Marx Hubbard. Learning objectives of TSP. Understanding the nature of desire and orienting myself towards the end of desire. Discerning and being able to distinguish between ego desires and core desires. Loosening the grip that persistent patterns of suffering have on me by compassionately partnering with them until I experience a sense of relief. Making the decision to inquire on my shadow until I abide in the light of full surrender. Integrating a unifying equation in view to reprogram the pain body by progressively destroying the false and being ready for how truth is going to change my life. Deepening my studies of the unconscious via the Golden XPR's tools and resources.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah.
So these were the objectives we looked at when we started the work. I'm curious if you'd be willing to offer a commentary from your perspective of how these objectives touched you and or what you actually saw from your relating to those objectives.
Do you want me to answer that, or was that like
Please, please. Yeah, well, and then we'll go around.
okay, so do you want me to like give an example on each point, or
Well, why don't you just take the one that most resonates to you, and then we'll come back and ask again. We'll do popcorn.
okay, so the first sentence, understanding the nature of desire and orienting myself towards the end of desire. Every time I desired to be out of a situation that I was in, I've perpetuated that even more, which made my desire even more, which separated it even more. So like mind blowing.
So you're beginning to orient yourself towards the end of desire.
Yes. Yes, I can say that I'm perfect now. Like, you know, sometimes it's one step forwards, two backwards, one times it's two step forwards, one backwards. So
that's the orientation. Beautiful.
yeah.
Amanda, Susie, what touched you guys from these objectives?
For me, it really felt like a magnifying glass. You know, really taking a deep look at where some of these attachments have gotten into like the nooks and the crannies. But it was very nice to be able to see it, to be able to get in there and scrub it out, and then to feel shiny and wholesome again. So that was very nice.
Thank you, Susie. Amanda, does any one of these ring true for you?
I think loosening for me, with just gradually taking out some of the resistance to being in like these little like eddies, like thought eddies, I want to call them, or addictions to like just unhealthy self-sabotaging thoughts and habits. So instead of shaming, which I'm prone to, I like this compassionate partnership that I'm building with myself. And it's like cleaning your house. Like you have to keep cleaning it. It's going to keep getting dirty. So, you know, and it's like, instead of being like, oh, there's something wrong with me, when I start to feel like pulled into my pain body, I actually now am just observing sensation as a messenger, and like, oh, you just got to like clean some cobwebs out. So yeah.
Congratulations. Daniel, what spoke to you? You've been around this for a while. Which of these objectives connected for you?
Definitely integrating what's been going on with me on a physical level. I have deeper gratitude and humility because I'm not like in this victim space. No, I feel shitty. But it's like I'm not my shitty feelings. I'm not my body. And I find that an excruciatingly exquisite, tasty morsel of truth. And to be fighting a virus and a tooth pull recuperation in the same week, it's like the temptation to say, what did I do to deserve this? I mean, it's just not there. And my level of compassion has increased. And maybe what it is really the level of compassion for myself to deny the interconnectedness or to get lost in the material trance. And I find that to be able to integrate that moment by moment by moment. And sometimes it's like I learn it and then I go, okay, I got it intellectually, that's enough. And then it comes again and I can learn it on a deeper level, on a more sentient level. And what's been so cosmically funny about this is that a friend of mine has a place here, and I popped in to get some things that I'd left at his place, and I had a suitcase in a room, and there was somebody in there, and they were sleeping, and I had to knock on the door to get my stuff. And he came out, and we had this beautiful interaction. Sarah was there kind of observing with these three Mexican musicians that were staying at my buddy's house. And the guy gives me a book in Spanish called the Respuesta of Job in Spanish by Carl Jung.
Mm.
The question of Job. And yeah, maybe I'm not suffering to the level of Job. However, like Job didn't abdicate his separateness from God or love. And he wasn't going to deny that he was something greater than the body, or at least that's a story that I make up. So all of this on a week before my birthday, all of this on the Dia de los Muertos, all of this during the election. I mean, thank you, XPR, for me to have such a perspicacity and to not get caught in the suffering or the personality, or to complain. You know, I love you, God, but fuck you, right? Why am I sick? Well, it's just not there. Just not there. So
Integrating
Beautiful.
is where it is. That's the whole gig. Thank you, Daniel. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
thank you. Thank you for asking. Yeah.
Emily, which of these touched you the most?
I resonate a lot with what Daniel said about like how I feel like I'm cycling through these things at deeper levels. And for me, I'm currently feeling like I'm at a level of discerning. So being able to distinguish, I'm always asking myself, is my interest or decision in this vitality something from my core desire, or is it something from my ego?
Excellent.
And Sarah, what would you like to offer?
Two of these struck for me, much like Emily's, discerning and being able to distinguish between ego desires and core desires. Just getting clearer on that. And the other one, making the decision to inquire on my shadow until I abide in the light of full surrender. I'm taking a little more time to be in the shadow and feel into that and then go to the other side. So I just thank you so much for creating a safe space to look at the shadow and include it and find the power that's in it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I echo your sentiments, Sarah, and I'm with you, Daniel, on the integrating and also the deepening, which continues, you know. How deep does the rabbit hole go? All the way. Maha, anything you wanted to speak to on the objectives?
I would say for me, it's both 1 and 6, understanding the nature of desire and orienting myself towards the end of desire, and using my study of the unconscious via the tools and resources of Golden XPR. I am tickled pink to share that I am beyond the writing block that lasted during that entire course. And I am definitely deepening Golden XPR and having an insight on its practicality that we will soon share. But coming to the end of desire of what you, the two artists, other artists of discourse, Amanda and Susie, spoke of. You know, it's like, would I paint or would I write if I weren't so afraid of people responding to me or not responding to me? And what the small print gave me is actually a deepening of my understanding. And I'm just very grateful for this course. So
Amen, amen.
I received it. So I'm most excited by this. Thank you for asking, Michael.
Amen, amen, amen. So those were the objectives, and we also put forward some results. So I was curious, Emily, would you be willing to read this page for us?
Sure. The mission of Golden XPR is to reveal the order inherent in the chaos of knowledge. When we perceive that there is a universal code to hearing and seeing the soul of perennial truths, the visible and invisible merge, we stop doubting, the hunger for love is satiated, we have nothing left to lose. Integrity is naturally embodied. We do no harm. And enlightened civilization emerges. We love it all.
So I'm first of all curious how that mission touches you today.
It touches me today after doing this work for a while in a more experiential way, where it's not just reading the words and having a vision for my future, but I see myself more over time increasingly feeling these things. So that's really positive. Like for like integrity naturally embodied, it's just easier to take responsibility for the harm I do to myself and others just naturally, and loving it all is a bit easier for me now than it was maybe a year ago. Things like that.
I feel the same way. Yeah, thank you, Emily. That was beautiful.
Indeed.
Did you take us through the results expected?
Yeah, expected results. More consciousness from having an increased understanding of my slave narrative. More courage from deepening my consciousness by diving more readily for the pearls. More wisdom from destroying the false and integrating truth. More gratitude from consistently deciding to recommit to full surrender. More worthiness from loosening and liberating the parts of me that are trapped in scarcity. More honesty by being truer to my word and discerning how to fulfill my own law. Yeah, those resonate with me, specifically for me, more honesty of realizing that I can kind of have it either way. I can have my life as I do it now, and that can be enough, but I'm not experiencing the sense of enough, so maybe I'm focusing on the wrong things. That's like honesty for me.
Yeah. And I find that particularly interesting that you would pick more honesty, because discernment was the learning objective that you most related to. The discernment between ego desire and heart's desire. And through honesty, you're answering your own learning. That's beautiful. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Sarah, any of these stick out for you? What touched you out of this expected results conversation?
More consciousness from having an increased understanding of my slave narrative. And more gratitude from consistently deciding to recommit to full surrender.
Isn't that the truth? Susie.
For me, it's more gratitude, specifically recommitting to full surrender and letting go of pride and just bowing down to these things that come into my life and saying thank you for being a teacher instead of being stubborn.
Daniel.
That's the whole list here. What's transpiring for me is a higher equivalency of all of these things happening simultaneously, and consciousness, courage, wisdom, gratitude, worthiness, and honesty being more operative on deeper levels. But I would say more wisdom, and what that translates into for me is gratitude and humility, because the humility of me not being the doer, and the humility of being able to see like the matrix of the whole thing, and the gratitude to have a knowledge that doesn't make me superior or manipulative, it makes me more loving. So to hold all that together, and it's just a testimony to the beauty of XPR. So thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Anna.
I'd say more gratitude and more worthiness. Gratitude because it has to be like, you know, I'd like to incorporate it as a daily practice for me to remember to surrender every day, because every day is a different day. And I've gone from, like, you know, trying to balance myself from like excess to not enough. And then worthiness because for a very long time I kind of felt that I had the good girl syndromes, and not thinking that, like, you know, I was worthy for more, or yeah.
Thank you so much, Anna. Amanda.
More honesty, probably. I may not have everything that I say that I want, like every single thing, but I'm at least like more honest about it now. And I also actually have transcended a lot of the issues I've struggled with or continue to on a loop, relearn the same lesson, but I am a lot more honest about where I'm creating that. So
Thank you so much. Did I miss anyone there? I think I called Maha. Did you want to say, Maha? Did you want to speak to the results?
Just echoing the consciousness, the courage, the wisdom, the gratitude, the worthiness and the honesty of this community. I think we rock and roll. And again, discourse would not have happened without you. It's impossible. So
amen to both of those, Maha. I just wanted to also invite that, you know, if you're called to continue your shadow work, then we also obviously will be beginning back our Paradise Circles, not tomorrow, but following Monday. And our Empowering Now Golden XPR calendar will reflect that invite for you to show up and to participate in community and to continue to exercise the muscle of shadow work. So there is that opportunity.
Thank you, Michael. Making the world a more honest world together. That's the invitation. This being said, it is 3:30 Central. There is the option, speaking of surrender, to look at the connection of the fear fractal to sacredness and the pillars. That would take us beyond our agreed upon time of 90 minutes. We had to open the door for this final class to last longer. Just a show of hands, is there anyone interested in your deepening the understanding of fear versus sacredness? Anyone wants to stay a little bit longer? Awesome. So those of you that cannot stay, maybe give us a final keyword as you depart. And those that can stay, we're going to look at that page. together. So, Amanda, you cannot stay. So, what would be your final call? Final?
I just want to say thank you.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you for the service and for showing up every single week and pouring your souls into transmitting this and embodying it and making it available and bringing this group together. All of you are so lovely. I love this group. I feel like we all have totally different perspectives and come together in this very dynamic way. And I have valued that so much. So, thank you. That's, yeah, just gratitude and excited to continue studying this. So
beautiful. We're excited to have you part of the family, literally so.
I know. Well, yeah, Michael's my dad. So like I've been hearing, I mean, obviously these lessons have been a part of my like upbringing and life and all of that, but I haven't experienced it in my own way, in a way that was sequential and guided. So it's been just such an honor to experience that and very proud of you guys. So
Thank you, beautiful Amanda. Feeling is mutual.
But I gotta run. So lots of love to everybody.
Beautiful. See you
Okay.
again.
Okay, bye.
Emily, you have to go also, correct?
Yeah, I think my keyword is also gratitude. I was writing it in the chat, gratitude and fun. This has been a fun series, and I'm grateful for all the work and especially breaking it down on this level, in a course format is really
Beautiful.
awesome.
Thank you so much for being with us, Emily. Thank you for you.
Thank you.
And Sarah, that is going to be the direct answer to your question. Do you have time to stay? Okay. Danielle, do you also have time to stay?
CC.
Ah, you're the best. So let me bring up that page, and such a beautiful page. It's part of a book that was called The Love Code.
And this is a page that has been through a tremendous transformation over the years.
God. So, Sarah, beautiful one. Let me first of all make that page bigger. There we go. Do you remember that discussion of the 3 pillars and the 3 crowns and how it was confusing? You're mute, dear Angel.
I do remember that I was very confused, but I can't remember any of the specifics.
Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is to refer to what we saw together as the fear and sacredness fractal. Okay. So the 6 days of fear, the fallen angel is afraid of falling. The prostitute of speaking, oh my God, I may say the wrong thing. The saboteur of rejection and ends up rejecting itself. The victim is the fear of loss that we spoke again of today. The child is afraid of death. What if my mommy and daddy were to leave me? And the rising angel is never risen because it's afraid of its own power. So, Sarah, first of all, do you remember that succession from falling to speaking to rejection to loss to death to power? Does that resonate a little bit again?
It does. Can you remind me on the falling one, what's the archetype that goes with the falling?
Fallen angel.
Fallen angel, got it.
There's 2 ways to be an angel, fallen and rising.
Okay.
Okay. So those fractal work opposites. So the opposite of until we don't need, until we're in the heart of love. The opposite of fear is sacredness. So we looked at, if I weren't so afraid of falling, would I be able to wait? Isn't there times where I act compulsively because I am so afraid of failing or of falling? Okay. We looked at the fear of speaking and how it is balanced by the sacredness of giving it all to love. If I know that I have no private agenda, then I can speak an honest yes and an honest no.
Mm.
We looked at the fear of rejection being balanced by the proficiency to receive. And this is Jesus' teaching, Jesus 101, that says when you pray, believe that you already received it, and it will be yours. This is what Dr. Joe says. Gratitude is the seat of receivership. Same teaching, different time zone. The fear of loss, which is the victim's fear, is what keeps us from making a decision. Can you see the connection?
Mm-hmm.
The fear of death is how our mind is completely cluttered and not in a meditation place. And the fear of power is how we can't fast. When we are able to fast in all dimensions of the world, then we are empowered. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's fear versus sacredness. Now, I'm going to ask you, in the background of this art is the prophet Mohammed, who called his initiate to surrender. Islam, or being a Muslim, means the one that listens, the one that surrenders. Okay. So that's the core teaching of Islam. And that picture features Mohammed because to have those proficiencies, and I believe it is you, Sarah, that said it reminds me of Siddhartha, who can wait, think, and fast. And I recall saying right on. Those are also the proficiency, the sacred pillar of Judaism. The difference with Judaism, and that's always the keys. In other words, the story of Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism are so beautiful. They open the heart. The story of the Bible, there's some stories that are so ugly, I want to close the book and say enough of this. But the wisdom of the Bible is in the codes. And the codes to living those proficiencies are the crown of the three pillars. So the three pillars of Judaism is and teshuvah, or the turn within, tefillah, or the key to receiving the prayer of gratitude by which I have it all, and tzedakah, which is the charity to give it all. Those are the pillar of Jewish religion, and by extension of Jesus' teaching. Those pillars have for crown three little words. Those are keywords. They're also codes. And what those three words have in common is if you add the letters, for example, call, the letter kaf is 100, the letter Fav is 6, the letter Lamed is 30. So when you add the value of those 3 letters, you get 136. Mammon, it's part of the gospel. When Jesus says, you cannot serve 2 masters. You either serve Elohim, the God that is the power of synchronicity, or you serve Mammon. And Mammon in the gospel is in Hebrew. And Mammon means yearning, money. So you cannot serve the power of synchronicity and be in lack. This ain't gonna happen. Again, the gospel teachings are mirrored by Dr. Joe Dispenza in a very big way. So if I look at the word mammon, mem is 40. 40 and 40 is 80, plus 6 is 86, plus nun, which is 50, is 136. Tzum, which means fast, 90, plus 6, 96, plus 40, 136. So that's what the Kabbalists do. They look at the code and they're like, what the heck is going on with that? And as Michael said, it took the entire length, the 16 years of our partnership, to finally come to yes, yes, and hear what this was about. So when I'm yearning for money, I can't decide. I'm afraid I'm not going to be received in my art. And that fear of loss, which can decide, is contained in that keyword. And the way out of it is to give it all. So if you recall, and maybe Danielle, you may also work with this, brown is the color of earth, of body. Azure is the color of mind. So the mind-body connection is right here. When I transcend my fear of speaking, I give it all to love. At that point, there is no more fear of loss, and vice versa. When I'm greater than the fear of loss, I have no problem deciding. Okay, that is why that little word, and I don't know any Kabbalist on earth that went so deep into the pain that this practicality came out. There's only XPR to be that clear with the goods and that practical. Nothing else exists that has that level of revelation. This little word means voice. So when I pray, is it a screech of the fallen angel that is into supplication, or is it the vision of the visionary that already has received the prayer? That is why that little word call is above the pillar of prayer. Do you follow that, Sarah?
I do.
Now let's look at the last word, tzum, the fast. When I can fast, I am in my power. Be it fasting from words or fasting from food, same. When I can fast, I am empowered. When I am afraid of power, there's no way I can fast. Now, that is the crown of the pillar of Teshuvah. Turn within, meditate. Then you won't be afraid of death. And then you will have a clear mind, a meditative mind. So here are the given power in Hebrew. Call is the voice. Tzedakah, charity. Tefillah, prayer. Mammon, money, yearning. Teshuvah, turn within, meditation. Tzum, fast. And here is the prayer that precedes and populates the 10 days of awe that stretch from Yom Kippur, from Rosh Hashanah to New Year, New Moon, into Yom Kippur. Uteshuva, utefila, utsedaka, ma'avirim et ruach agzera. But turning within, or meditating, praying in gratitude, and giving it all, have the power to avert the evil decree. In other words, my projection of evil. Why? There is an attachment to what is not working in my life. So, Danielle, would you come out of, if you can, would you be willing to read this this finishing paragraph for us?
Yeah, I'm coming. Okay. Tortuga. Tortuga is coming. Okay. Here I am, Lord. All right, I need to adjust my screen. There we go. Okay. The book of life is written 10 days before my fate is sealed on the most intense day of atonement. The clarion summons me. The angels tremble. The court is in session. What will God's verdict be, life or death? 3 words, once I feel their sacredness, have the power to avert the evil decree of my endlessly replaying the past. They help me to transcend time and mind and fear not, as I can inquire, wait, think, and give it all.
Amen.
Amen.
Oh, so how was that for you, Sarah? Is it clearer now?
So clear. And
Excellent.
and it's interesting, one of the parts that I had a challenge with, I couldn't understand what was I can give it all, but I heard you say earlier, I can give it all to love, and I can give it all to truth is the doer. And now I get it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
Anna,
for making it so clear.
oh, I had you in mind since I knew where the challenge was. So I'm grateful that this page was written, and Mohammed the Prophet did all of that for us. Anna, I was going to ask you what touched you.
This is very interesting. It's it keeps reminding me of the teachings of Dr. Joe, which like I can understand them on different levels now, like, or 2 different perspectives or teachings. It's for me was the Zoom that I can fast, and I have the power, feel empowered, and I can fast, and the power lies within me. And when I cannot, I'm either afraid of it or I have no power in that moment. I feel powerless.
I understand. Well, thank you for your honesty and for deepening your understanding of universal teachings.
Thank
And
you.
Susie,
Yeah, I heard the same thing as Anna did, where if I'm afraid of my power, I can fast. And I think fasting is all about waiting for the long-term reward
yeah,
instead of
exactly.
sense gratification in the now.
Beautiful. So that feels complete to me, Michael. Do you have anything you wish to add?
The only addition is the doozy. In other words, the idea that to feel sacredness. These three words, in other words, the codes are here to support feeling the sacredness. And that's my key word for today. The sacredness that is within the experience being here now.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everyone. Let's just to be continued is what I would say.
That's perfect. Thank you, Maha. And thank you, everyone, again.
Thank
Have
you.
a
Quick
beautiful
question.
afternoon and stay
I have a
tuned.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
For Thursday, would that be this link?
No, we'll get a new one.
The link?
Yeah, there'll be a link
What is it?
on the there'll be a link on the calendar invite that we'll send out on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm previously committed,
It-
unfortunately, so I won't be able to attend.
Be
Well,
with us in spirit, Daniel.
exactly. Exactly.
Sorry,
right.
Anna, did I interrupt? You're
No.
finishing.
No, not at all. No.
I will also be with Daniel as it's his birthday.
All right.
celebration.
Happy birthday early.
Happy birthday, indeed.
Happy birthday.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you
Peace
so
out.
much for the clarity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you,
Daniel.
thank you, thank you.